what's really behind Jalen Ramsey's trade demand. But we start today with Thursday Night Football. To be clear, I have my occasional differences of opinion with Tom Brady, but the Patriots quarterback remains my Walter Cronkite, the most trusted man in American football. Like the legendary newsman, Brady is very careful with his public pronouncements, reluctant to express an opinion. Brady sticks to the facts and lets the public reach its own conclusion. That's why last night was so shocking and so important. Via Twitter, Brady shredded the league's ongoing officiating fiasco, tweeting, quote, "I'm turning off this game. I can't watch these ridiculous penalties anymore. Hashtag Tennessee versus Jacksonville." Brady's sentiment summarized the thoughts of all of us who love football. Last night's game was hard to watch. The refs called 8 holding penalties in the first half and tossed 15 flags total in the first 30 minutes. It was 1st and 20 all night. You spent more time staring at the right corner of your TV screen looking for the yellow penalty graphic than looking at Jacksonville quarterback Gardner Minshew's mustache. Holding penalties are up 66% this year. Some of the blame falls on the sloppy play from players and teams who rarely practice full speed, but I mostly blame the competition committee for mandating this madness. A handful of coaches convinced the league to emphasize holding penalties to stop backside lobster blocks. Now, I love football. I played offensive line in college. I have no idea what a lobster block is, and I damn sure don't know why they have to be stopped. I'm willing to bet every dime I have that a lobster block tastes no different from a pancake block. Let me remind everyone involved in football what the NFL is. It's a TV show. It's created to entertain viewers, not please coaches who want to prevent lobster blocks. Football coaches aren't television producers. You can't let Sean Payton, Mike Tomlin, and Ron Rivera bully the competition committee into bad decisions that ruin the TV show. Payton's little offseason tantrum about a blown pass interference call in the NFC Championship is why the league overreacted, and we now have a pass interference crisis on top of the holding crisis. This is all starting to feel like a reenactment of the Vietnam War. You got football coaches acting like officiating war hawks. It's the same Dwight Eisenhower and spawned domino theory that escalated our involvement in Vietnam. Football coaches believe every problem can be solved by a new officiating rule. Not remotely true. Roger Goodell and the other smart people in charge of the NFL must stand up to the coaches and remind them that the main thing is still the main thing. The NFL is a showcase for its talented and fascinating players, not the old guys throwing flags or the old guys calling the plays. Tom Brady's painful critique gives the league the necessary leverage to tamp down the influence of its hawkish coaches. It's no different from when Walter Cronkite returned from his February 1968 visit to Vietnam and immediately announced that we couldn't win the war and should seek a negotiated exit. President Johnson told a staff member, "If I've lost Cronkite, I've lost Middle America." It's good to hear from the coaches, but the guys in the suits who understand the business of football must drive the decision-making. So bring back the lobster block, and I'll take a side order of pass interference, too. All right, joining the desk now are Fox Sports NFL analysts LeVar Arrington and TJ Houshmandzadeh. Marcellus, does the NFL have an officiating crisis?
No, they don't. And I just want to give you a little too late advice. If you knew what a lobster block was when you was in college, boy, you might have made it, bro. I'll tell you, them lobster blocks got on my nerve. When the cats block you like that and just grab you, just that little quick grab right there just throws you off your stride, you never get there. It was an amazing thing. They don't have an officiating crisis. What they have is an expectation crisis from its fan base, from those viewers, from people who are outraged.
Tom Brady.
Yeah, Tom Brady. Yeah, yeah. Convenient of Tom Brady to tweet about this. That's a rarity, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, God, I wonder what's going on in his life that makes him want some of this noise. Oh, did he just open up the new TB12 Sports Center there, rehab facility this week? Oh, yeah, he did. Did he just go on TikTok like last week and Variety was writing about it? Oh, yeah. Look, always chase the money, man, if you want to know where the message really is coming from. I respect Tom Brady greatly, but this was fueled by the commodity of what he has going on in his personal life. That said, got caught. Yeah, it's real talk. So here's the thing. What's the expectation when you watch an NFL game? Because I know what's going to happen. You say, I want the game to go faster, fewer penalties. And you know what's going to happen? People going to start sitting there and saying, damn, they still not getting it right. Fewer penalties, faster games, and we're still not getting it right. So why don't you call the things that we all see should be called? There is no way to fix this because of human error. There's no way to fix a subjective experience and make it perfect. So me, I sit back. Look, I ain't gonna lie. The Carrera play, that was absurd. That was horrible. But that's going to happen. That has happened. And it's not gonna get me to a place where I'm outraged. I walk into an NFL experience with a healthy mindset that there's gonna be some issues and it may take a little longer, but I'm in love with the product so much. Those are small things to a giant.
Is it a crisis? No. It's a problem. It's a slight problem. And what happens is when they start the game with penalty after penalty after penalty, people watching the game, like, I'm tired of watching. I was watching the game, and I'm like, golly, there's so many penalties. And then what a coincidence, third quarter, there's no penalties. So at halftime, they probably got a call and said, slow down on the penalties. Start the game that way so that you don't lose viewers who are tired of watching the game. Big play. You look on the right-hand corner. Oh, it's a flag. This is coming back. And some of these holding called, if I'm blocking you as an offensive player and the guy's running by and you reach to make the tackle, they call holding. There's no way you can fight me off and make the tackle at the same time, not with a guy running the ball. But all the defensive player has to do is put his arm out there and fall. They're going to call holding. It's a problem. Will I say it's a crisis? No, but it was what a coincidence. Third quarter, there was no penalties last night.
It's 100% a crisis. It's 100% a crisis, and it's because it's politically driven. It's a health crisis, and the health crisis has led to an officiating crisis, and it's a balancing act. The reason why is you're looking at a lot of these penalties that were being called in mass portions were against defenders. All right, follow me. They were called against defenders, the type of hits that you're making. All right, now, for the longest time, defenders have been complaining about being victimized by the way that games are being called. Well, what's leading to that? Oh, the way those lobster blocks are taking place, the pillback blocks. If you're looking at the vast majority of flags that are being thrown this year on guys on the NFL level, the college level, the high school level, even youth, it's crackback blocks, it's holding calls, and it's personal fouls. It is a matter of balancing out what's taking place and trying to create control so you don't lose sight of the fact that this is a football game versus it is an offensive game. And the reality that exists here, the reason why it's a crisis is because people watch football for one thing and one thing only, the brutality of the sport. Modern-day gladiators, they go to war. Closest thing to the army, the military, right? But now it's getting to the point of where it's turning into a touch football league. And when it turns into a touch football league, they're trying to find that balance to say it's justified to say that everybody is being looked at in the same way. Health matters this way and it matters this way. And the reality of it is that you're taking the brutality out of a sport that's a full contact sport for health purposes, participation purposes, moms purposes, and it is a crisis that they're going to have to address and figure out.
Well, what you said, it's funny, Mark Schlereth, our boy, said it during the broadcast when he saw some of those egregious calls. He says, it's just tough to watch them try to legislate contact out of a contact sport. That said, I still think this is not a crisis because of mindset, because of expectations. And I give you the closest example I have to what mindset can do to you in terms of how you perceive things. You ever go to the DMV? You got to get your license.
Got to wait.
Whatever. You got to wait, right? When you walk in the DMV, do you ever
You ain't waiting. You got to hook up. You ain't waiting at the DMV.
It's your boy. I mean, I'm just talking for the masses. No, I'm being for real. I got to wait, too.
I can't stand him for
and
that.
I hate waiting because everybody want to talk sports in that line. I'm like, damn, I'm here for 3 hours to talk sports. But you walk in thinking you got to wait. My wife is different. She's type A. She walks in, she's like, 3 hours? Oh, my God. I'm like, baby, it's once every 10 years, and it ain't gonna kill us. I walk in, cool. That's the thing about these penalties. When they threw it last night, Tom Brady, Jason Whitlock, others are like, oh, my God, another penalty. I'm like, all right, this is going
Marcellus, the issue is, though, I think there's more people like me and Tom Brady than you. And everybody's expectations can't be controlled. And again, I think the NFL, the issue that people are having, Brady, myself, is like, there's a thing called anticipation, where you anticipate being disappointed. And so a lot of these big plays, we see it in the kick game all the time, punt and kickoff returns. We anticipate there's going to be a flag.
Yeah.
And now if you start applying that to offense and defense, you're in a dangerous spot where people are anticipating being disappointed. This has to stop. And look, they're going to have to look at some ways, to me, they should legalize holding. I really believe that. I don't care.
You can call it every play.
But this is what happens.
You could call it every play.
This is why it's a problem too. When they throw a penalty and call it, and it's a flag, they show the replay.
Everybody's holding.
A lot of it is ticky-tack.
Yes.
Now, if you blatantly hold somebody, throw the flag. If it's ticky-tack and he has no chance of making a play, they're bringing back 25, 30-yard gains. People tune in to see touchdown score. They don't want to see 6-3 and 3-0, 10-7 scores. They want to see touchdown scores.
The NFL's going to have to get creative with how they address a lot of these issues. One of the things I've never said publicly, but I've said privately to people, is that the NFL needs to partner with some college football league, the Mid-American Conference, Conference USA, or whatever, implement their experiment rule changes in those leagues for a year and evaluate it, then bring it to the NFL.
Like that.
Instead of emphasizing holding and lobster blocks for the first time, and we all have to deal with this experiment, it's just too much. Partner with one of these smaller college conferences, evaluate there some different ways of addressing the game and getting to the bottom of these safety issues, because, LeVar, you're right. Defensive players are like, man, y'all making all these rules to benefit offense, and so now they're giving you one on the defensive side.
It's knee-jerk reactions, and I think you're 100% right. You minimize a knee-jerk reaction if you have a testing ground to do it, right? That's the reality of it.
But we know how it happens pragmatically on the NFL level. TJ nailed it. They have a points of emphasis throughout the offseason, and every single game. We used to see the officials. They'd be in that little side locker room, and they had the little whiteboard with their little points of emphasis. We're going to watch this. And every single year after the competition committee emphasizes what we're looking for, they go out there and emphasize it. And it always starts off drastically, like overcorrection. And then they kind of bring it back to a healthy medium.
But that's the NFL as it applies to off and on the field. If there's policy towards conduct, what's the hot button topic this year? No more. Big time, right? Everybody's doing it. NFL faces. No more, right? That died down. No, died down. Go to something else. What is that? Put the NFL faces on that. Anything that the NFL gets connected to, it's up football, right? All these things that get connected to the NFL and its brand, there's going to be a very, very aggressive attempt to right what it is that is publicly perceived, the optics of what's right versus wrong. Whether it's right or wrong, they're going to address that.
But let's not narrow the focus just to the NFL, man. If you think about it, to illustrate, this is the same dynamic that a police captain walks in front of his crew and says, got a new directive. A lot of jaywalkers out there, aren't there?
Get them.
Wink. Go get them.
Get them.
You know why? We know why. And then they go out there and get them. Then you sitting there complaining, man, it's just jaywalking. Hey, bro, I let you slide.
It's still a law.
It's still a law. And look, you still holding. And now everybody like, oh, Bernard, why you call it holding? Why am I jaywalking? Because, bro, they are emphasizing.
I wonder where refs come from. I think they're aliens altogether.
I don't
come
blame
in on spaceships.
I'm not blaming
I'm telling you,
them.
I don't blame the refs. I'm telling you, these coaches and they're driving to the competition committee and think that we can just put